I'm 56, you're in your 20s, watch this. Because if I was in my 20s, I wish someone would give me this advice for these next 5 lessons. Lesson number 1. The best investment you're ever going to make is not in stocks. It's not in a house. It's not in a car. Once you purchase those things, you have very little control over the outcome of what happens next. The best investment you're ever going to make is in yourself. Investing in yourself is going to be the number one game changer to your own prosperity. So look, you're in your 20s, you finished school, you gave yourself a chance, you have a great education. Where do you go from here? The next thing you really want to do is to surround yourself with people that are going to empower you to the next level. You never want to stop learning. It doesn't matter so much where you're learning, but who you're learning from. So at this point in your life, you're going to start fine-tuning and now funneling down those things that you're really passionate about. It's going to be what defines you in the end. So hopefully, if you surround yourself with enough of the right people, you will have and gained enough knowledge to drive your own successful outcomes. Investing in yourself will be the number one game changer for your own prosperity. So here's an example. In life, after I finished school, I had 2 sets of families. I had my European family that said, hey, now that you've got an education, you got a degree, go out and work for a company. And then there was the other family next door, different culture altogether, where they basically said you had all the tools you need to go out and start your own business. Who do you think became more successful in the long run? Those people that invested in themselves. So here you are in your 20s, you've given yourself a chance, you've got an education, and you don't want to stop there. You want to keep building on that education. How do you do that? You meet people that can possibly be your mentors. People that want to do the things that you want to do and can show you how they've done them successfully. And as a result, you'll grow as a person. The key being is that the more you know, the more control you'll have over your outcomes. By working for some other employer, they will decide when you stay on and when you'll get fired. That is no way to live your life. So you've taken your first step in investing yourself. Where do you go from there? Well, it could be continuous education in the form of reading more books in the niche or the path that you're really passionate about. Pick a subject matter, be really good at it, and then from there expand on it. So whether it's books, whether it's continuous education at an institution, whether it's at a community meetup of like-minded people that also share the same passion you do, or you seek out mentorship, people within your industry of choice that you've chosen that are already doing the things that you want to do or are doing them better than you're doing them right now. So in exchange for their skills or their tips or their hacks or all the things that they've learned throughout their experiences, you might actually want to volunteer some of your time or maybe offer some free service or product in exchange for some of their knowledge or maybe even some of their connections. So ultimately, as you surround yourself with more people and your network grows and you become more empowered and then you become more thoughtful of where you want to go, you have more power to drive the outcomes that will lead you to better or greater prosperity. It's important that you continuously invest in yourself. Why? Because the more empowered you are, the more control over your own outcomes you have. The more control you have, the more heightened chance of success for prosperity in your life. Can't do that with stocks. Can't even do that with buying a house. But investing in yourself will drive that outcome. Lesson number 2, and you've probably heard this many times, it's not who you know, but who knows you. So the advice I would say to you is get off the video games, get out from the basement and go meet some people. So if you don't have people knowing that you actually exist, how do you expect the opportunities to come your way? So if you have the opportunity, you want to choose the latter. Because if you're absent, opportunities won't flow towards you. They'll flow away from you. If you have the opportunity, choose the latter. Because when you're in the office, opportunities will flow towards you versus you having to chase them from a distance. So lesson number 3, smart work is better than hard work. And I know it all sounds like a cliche. Everything I've said sounds like a cliche. Coming from a 56-year-old man, I could be your dad. But it's true. Work smarter, not harder. What am I going to mean by this? I mean that you want to leverage. You want to take the concept of leverage technology. You want to leverage relationships. You want to leverage mentorships. You want to leverage other people's money. All this so that you can do more with less and more impactfully than you could do it on your own through the concept of leverage. Be smart. You don't necessarily have to work that hard. You just need to understand a path to working smarter. So let's say you're strictly just working hard. Let's take an example of a construction worker. He's out there in the cold, in the rain, all 4 seasons. He's got arthritis, right? He's working hard. He's making a good living. But there's a limit to his physicality. He can't do this forever. So start working smart. At some point, you'll have enough skills and knowledge about what you're doing that you can actually go into business for yourself and leverage other people. Leverage the bank's money to start your own company. Leverage other people to do the things that you were just doing for the last 20 years that you can no longer do because your hands are so sore. Your back is so sore. So you want to start empowering them to do things that you used to do. So that's an example of working harder. But let's start working smarter. You take the skills and all the knowledge, you now turn that into your own business using other people's money, the bank's money, and using other people as a form of leverage. Having them work for you, carrying out the things that you used to do, but now you're doing it for yourself. So you don't necessarily want to work harder for the sake of working harder, but you want to work smarter for the sake of getting farther. So lesson number 4 deals with being an entrepreneur more than anything else. But in life, I've learned as an entrepreneur that you need to have a backup, to the backup, to the backup. Plan A, plan B, and a plan C, and so on. So in life, nothing ever goes as planned the way you drew up that play. So for an example, an analogy in football. You have a play, you've got your team ready to go, you snap the ball, and you're looking to throw it downfield, only to find out you've got a blitz coming to you. You then have to have a backup. You call an audible. And you've got to be able to pivot, right? You've got to be able to react. And so you need to have a backup plan. So if, let's say you own a house and you're investing in a house, and all of a sudden you've got a flood in the basement, what are you going to do? You didn't account for that. You didn't expect that to happen, but you better have a plumber. Now all of a sudden it's a long weekend. Your plumber's not around. You got to go to plan B. Who's the next person in line? Another plumber perhaps? Another contractor perhaps? Well, you better have an A, B, and a C, because ultimately if you don't have any of those things, you are the silver bullet. You better know how to deal with those things because there is no other backstop. So always have a plan A, B, C, a backup to the backup to the backup. So lesson number 5. Getting into business with friends or family is like getting into bed with fish. Both start to stink after a few days. So the reason that it's dangerous is because there is a misalignment of expectations. Family or friends are always going to expect more from you. Hey, you know what? We're blood. We're friends. You can give me a little extra something, right? For the support I gave you. On the flip side, things in your project might not have turned out the way you wanted in the time frame. Hey, things aren't working out as well as I thought this early in the game. Could you cut me some more slack? We're friends, we're family. So that's going to piss them off. And what that ultimately leads to is a lack of trust on both sides. And what that ultimately leads to is a lack of trust on both sides because of that misalignment of expectations. No trust most likely will lead to conflict. Conflict will most likely lead to failure. Failure means that money is going to be lost on both sides. So take it from me. My advice would be, if you're going to do something in business for yourself or take on a project, it's better to take your time. Do it yourself. Do it with people that have done it before, that can help and guide you along, and they'll understand the expectations don't have to be so high. You know, if you're going into contract with a bank, it's all written down. You know exactly what has to be done. The protocol is all written down. The lines and the rules get blurred when you're doing it with friends and family. So having a true business partner, a third party, someone out there that understands what you're about to do is much better than leaving it up to just friends and family and feeling.